better as a top laner for me, because Aatrox, being a juggernaut, type of champion that takes over the game, you want as much levels and as much money in that champion as possible. Jungle is not a high income role.
Not anymore.
It's a very high
RIP Season 6.
It's a high influence role because you get the autonomy to choose which lanes you go to often early on in the game. However, it doesn't have a lot of money backing it up.
Well, the Meteos Trundle pick, also the traditional counter to Sejuani. You subjugate as soon as she sees somebody at the start of the fight. She'll have Arctic armor, she'll have Aftershock. You get 200 free resistances, and all of a sudden she just turns into a big squishy boar.
One of my good answers, though, as a Sejuani player, I don't take Aftershock anymore versus...
look at you, big brain.
So you can change...
You that Hail of Blades thing?
You can change. So my personal favorite is I use the Fleet Footwork for the move speed and healing. Hail of Blades is good in some situations if you're facing opponents that have less mobility, that you can just quickly stack up your stun. In most situations, I'm running with melee top laners or something like that, else like that, so I don't have trouble actually stacking it up. And Fleet Footwork is actually quite good for repositioning your W, which, as I said before, is a big part of the Sejuani damage now. The second swing is often hard to hit on professional players as they do their best to dodge it, and it is just the line portion. But we can get deeper on into those junglers later on in the game. We already have it rounded out here. There's some more melee on the side of Sejuani. Nautilus is a great secondary engage for this team, and another tanky member.
And with the Nautilus locked in there for the support role, going to be accompanying the Sivir there in the bottom lane. Optic, again, they keep seeing these TSM picks, and they go for the immediate counter. Morgana, one of the best counter picks to Nautilus, because of the fact that as soon as you see that big, slow ulti blowing up through the ground, very easy to Black Shield the target.
Definitely true. Black Shield, so good. And especially for someone like Aatrox.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, we've been focusing on it a lot, but that is what has been determining a lot of high-level games. If you can get the Black Shield onto Aatrox and free him up from the Sejuani, from the Nautilus, holding him down in team fights, that allows you to get your reset and really take over. Morgana Black Shields aren't always monopolized by the AD carries. Even if your AD carry is whining like that, you can have a frontline carry similar to Aatrox or Riven. Those types of champions are also deserving.
TSM ban out the Draven and the Akali. Optic Gaming go for 2 mid lane bans, but very stylistically different ones. The Azir, the hard carry, versus the Zillion that plays more of a supportive role. Bjergsen's been known to pop off on both. They'd rather not see him on either. Let's see if they decide to go with this Xayah lock in here. Makes sense that you would want to leave your mid lane pick open for that last pick, counter pick, really make use of the fact that you're on red side, and that's what they'll do.
Yeah, Xayah, very, very safe ultimate there, possible for Arrow. Also really like the early damage output that you can afford. Bindings and Blade Callers work very well together. Xayah and Morgana can definitely lock you in place for a long time, and gives the threat of level 1 invades some real potency.
Syndra, one of Bjergsen's all-time most played.
There it is.
Very impressive win rate on this champion as well. A classic locked in for TSM.
Huge, huge damage output at level 6, as everyone is quite well aware. And burst damage and long range and plus AoE stuns can serve you very well against an Aatrox if the Aatrox doesn't have the Morgana Black Shield and is able to get on top of the Syndra.
If Scarlet debuts on the LCS stage playing Yasuo into Bjergsen's Syndra, that's one way to do it.
I do like the Trundle Yasuo combination. It's one of my favorites, because all you have to do is pop up a pillar on someone and you basically get to cast Yasuo. It feels really nice as a jungler.
Yasuo becomes your
It's like your Pokemon, and go Yasuo! That guy at a very long range. And it's definitely an enjoyable feeling, but it's going to be the Vladimir lock-in. The sustain lane going to try and farm it out unless they swap, in which case we would have the Aatrox trying to run it down. But I do like the Vladimir options towards mid lane. I think it's an underutilized mid laner. If you just try and sustain out early on through the lane, it's often very hard to try and take advantage of the Vladimir before you get your extra levels into the queue, at which point you get to go even on the farm, and the Vladimir becomes a very, very good team fighter, diving past into the back lines against Syndra, who does not have an escape. And the Sivir as well can be extremely effective.
Even on to Gangplank. Gangplank's not going to go anywhere. If he falls behind the curve of the game, maybe you don't have enough survivability through things like Asterix or a Phantom Dancer or anything with a lifeline passive on it. Honestly, Vlad can blow you up really easily. TSM wanting to maintain control of that first place here as well. I love the contrast between these two teams that we're seeing here. TSM, a team that everybody expected to see tied for first. Optic, the team that has surprised lots of fans so far here in the first 3 weeks of play. They met their first losses in week 3 when they went against a higher caliber of opponent. Now they're up against TSM, another one of those top dogs. Let's see how they do. The crowd clearly has an opinion.
Familiar chants coming through once again. Acadian's on stage with the team, and they've sent him topside with the rest of the members. Broken Blade baiting here. Can they circle around? I don't know. I don't think Dokla caught vision. Is he going to take the bait? Oh, maybe he got a little glimpse there. Yep, he's seen it.
All right.
Go down. Spams the ping. Hey, there's a Sejuani up here. They're trying something tricky. And the attempt at the level 1 pass there from TSM will not pay off. And the answer is always a counter invade on the other half of the map where Optic will get deep vision.
All right, as level 1s do not work out, let's go ahead and throw things over to a sideline report. Avli is standing by with Zabutin. Take it away.
Thanks, Flowers. Zob, tell me about Scarlet, because this is his LCS debut against TSM, and where's Crown?
So, you know, when you lift a lot of things, you put it into your backpack, you can get a little bit of like back pain. And so what exactly happened to Crown. So I actually just spared him for a week because he asked me I need some time off for just like health issues. So obviously I'm not gonna force him to play because if he like get injured or anything. So Scarlet's playing. Scarlet is absolutely mind-blowing as a player. I think that is really good. He's literally the LCS level. So yeah, maybe some fans won't like the trade-off, but I think that my trust goes to Scarlet today, 100%.
What did you tell him before coming into this game?
I think everybody had the same mindset: is we not play with our 5, let's have fun. That's the most like obvious thing, but having fun more than anything is a priority today.
Great mindset to have. Thank you, and best of luck to you and the team. Back to you guys.
With that explanation, maybe it sounds a little bit like Crown's priority is having fun too. You know, I'm a little bit sick. I gotta play some teamfight tactics at home. Okay, he got through the login queue.
That's the most surprising part of the story.
Actually, yes. Big gonna be the recipient of another hook from Smoothie, but gets the black shield off in time. No harm, no foul. Interesting to hear that their top priority is having fun when they're tied also for first place at the top of the standings.
Gotta play the mental game, bro. Very important.
And they must be confident about their playoff spot here. And moving forward, you know, I know that is a very big goal for the team, so we'll see if they can actually keep that up through summer, because a lot of the teams playing very aggressively for those spots.
And speaking of aggressive, I want to point out that Scarlet's rune choice has him taking the Electrocute on the Vladimir, which is something that will give you more combo potential all-inning someone, but it's not what you traditionally see with Vladimir taking Phase Rush, making it so he's more agile when he goes in, drops everything with the ultimate, and then has the speed to stay onto the back line. He will be depending on his team to be able to help him with that, locking opponents down and providing the chance to get in there and do the damage.
And he's looking to have fun with the full burst rotation and get some kills for himself. Looking for that Electrocute damage. Topside though, look at this early rotation from TSM, something they've been doing much more frequently. Bjergsen pushing up the lane, looks for an opportunity to work with his jungler. Unfortunately for TSM, he is on a ward, but they're gonna corner Dokla, and they're going for the dive. Teleport from Scarlet could come in.
TSM collapsing with 3. Dokla doing what he can to try to defend himself, flashing away, tries to dodge out of it. Broken Blade nearly gonna be killed, has to flash to escape the last shot, but a good play from TSM.
Well, bottom side.
Meteos forcing out the flash from Sven immediately with a very well-placed pillar.
Yep. High value gank on the bottom side just to get a flash, but a higher value one on top side. Bjergsen and Acadian work together early in the game to get the dive for Broken Blade. Money goes over to Bjergsen himself, which will make up for some of the CS that Scarlet was able to push into the tower. And this is going to be resulting in very big CS differences early on in the game. Plus, Scarlet got some damage onto the turret. Don't know if he got the whole plate, but here's another look at the dive. they're going to deny Dokla some of these minions. You can see he's trying to get the minions right now as he knows his impending doom is on the way. Nicely played there by TSM jugging the tower. Aggro, Broken Blade does have to flash in the end, but they denied some CS to top side as well. Meteos wants to right the wrong. Broken Blade, no flash!
Meteos makes his way up here. Broken Blade steps out of the way of the chains. That's going to be pretty important, but the damage is still there. Broken Blade keeping himself alive for now, but Meteos bonks him on the head with the stick, and that is one kill going back the way of Optic.
I have to say, quite a good answer from Optic. Very successful early move, from TSM, but Optic got the CS mid from Skarlet, pushing one extra wave in, and he got a large portion of, well, not that large actually. Little bit of damage on the plate. Meteos, though, goes and helps out Dokla. Lets him know he's not going to be left alone there on the top side. And that was very important because, both summoner spells used. Skarlet, though, under attack.
Saving the pool, very well done there. Did not use it too early, trying to escape from Bjergsen when he ran into him at the bottom part of the lane. Instead, waited for the guaranteed thing with the charge from Acadian and gets himself out, not having to waste that flash. Good stuff there from a player who's honestly having his LCS debut today. Sometimes you could expect the nerves to come in a situation like that, but cool clear head there from Skarlet so far in the mid lane. And as we have been talking about this top side, I mean, last game, we got to see the version of the matchup where Aatrox runs away with things, right? It was Impact slamming that game, always in control. Haunter really struggling to have the same effect in the game. And I'm glad Optic is making sure that Dokla doesn't fall behind if TSM's trying to invest too hard up into that top side. Bjergsen full HP here in the mid lane. Skarlet very, very close to not full HP, as he does not get a chance to use that empowered transfusion onto anything, instead makes his way down into the river. We'll find some honey fruits here to heal back up.
Yeah, those are very important. He doesn't want to go back again because wants to save his teleport for, well, actually he's recalling anyways. Once he got the honey fruit, gonna use the time. Let's see if he uses his teleport or if he saves it for a mid-game play here. Vladimir, he goes back and gets a little bit of HP. He got the early cooldown reduction part of a possible Spirit Visage build super early on, so he can spam
Proto Belt as well.
Or Proto Belt. Actually, yeah, it's going to be the Proto Belt combination. But he got the early cooldown reduction part of it, so he can try and sustain through the lane. And is getting the extra levels into the queue now. Meanwhile, bottom side, Sven trying to push it out quickly here with the Sivir. And Big helping with some of the wave clear on Morgana. You can see you go for those pools when the enemy carry is right next to all the ranged minions and sets it up nicely for your marksman.
Nice binding finds its way onto Smoothie, but he's not too worried about it. And oftentimes, remember, we don't see Vladimir rush straight for the completed item either. It will be a CDR garage sale many times, going for Fiendish Codex, Kindle Gem there at the beginning, grabbing some shoes to go along with it before you really complete any big items, since CDR does so very much on the champion. You can see he has Sorcery as the backup rune, even though he didn't take Phase Rush as primary runes, like I said, Vladimir's often do. Means you're probably looking at Transcendence in there to help him hit that 40% CDR, so he can really get those spell rotations off in the late game. Level 7 means he has one more rank before that transfusion really comes online.
You can see Bjergsen looking for the harassment constantly. Doesn't get that stun though. Skarlet, nice movement so far. Bottom side, Acadian is level 6 now as he approaches with the Sejuani for an invade off of their pushing bottom lane.
Critically, the bottom lane for Optic, not level 6 on either member. No Xayah ulti, no Morgana ulti. Means if they get in a big fight, TSM not nearly as afraid as they potentially could be, while Syndra does the trademark Syndra move that tilts all junglers, where she yoinks the camp away and throws it out of your reach.
And this is a counter invade because Meteos is countering on the top blue side of TSM, but the blue buffs are desynced. And Acadian's very happy to trade these halves of the map. Yeah. There's so much more value down here. They're pushing bottom lane, also affords them an easy dragon. And Meteos gonna go for the dive. Let's see if they get the outplay.
All right, Dokla's gonna go ahead, pop the World Ender. Broken Blade trying to keep himself alive as long as possible. Meteos is the one who has to flash away to keep himself alive, but the dive is successful. Broken Blade goes down. He's gonna lose the minions underneath the turret, and Optic is happy about the outcome of this one. Skarlet now could be dove very soon. Unleash power coming out from Bjergsen there to make sure the Optic mid laner is in some trouble. Smoothie hooks his way in, but a good pull from Skarlet makes sure that he gets out just fine.
So that is going to be a turret plate and an ocean dragon given in exchange for the top lane dive, which the kill credit did go to Aatrox, which is exactly what you want for Optic. But an interesting little exchange there. Some more minions pushed into the wave as well, and we'll see if that does pay out. Here's another look at it. Meteos on the top side of the map had completely counter-jungled this blue quadrant of the map. He knows that he has the flash to get out of tower range, saves it until the very end, and Dokla is able to get the kill on Aatrox, further funding his progress towards a Black Cleaver.
Nearly done with that first big purchase. Can make him very scary once he works his way into these fights. Teleport's almost up for both top laners, so if we get into a big fight here around mid or bottom lane, we could see these guys intervene. Broken Blade does not have his ulti to help from afar. As Meteos goes into the brush. Broken Blade has a flash, so Meteos can't just walk up and guarantee the kill, but you can guarantee the summoner. Meteos getting up here into the fight now as Broken Blade is deciding to run towards Acadian. Force this into a 2 versus 2. Skarlet makes his way towards that top lane scuffle. Bjergsen's going to be doing the same. Both mid laners now heading back to the mid lane, recognizing the fight is going to be stopping here pretty quickly. Acadian in the river. Meteos walking up, wants to try to stop him there, but won't really have the chance.
Yeah, that's a long-range Sejuani ultimate does go wide. I don't think it really gets much, even if it lands, though, as Skarlet was going to be the first one to roam up to the top side. So the cooldown will definitely be felt, but we won't have any bloodshed. Bjergsen half roamed up, and as soon as he saw the play was fizzling out, he went back mid. He gets some money off the turret. Will he get out with his life, though? Meteos is on the chase on the inside route.
Meteos will throw up the pillar. Broken Blade's gonna find himself being beat up pretty hard here by Dokla's Aatrox to the top side, and now it's gonna be a full-blown fight here in the mid lane. More backup coming in for the side of TSM as Smoothie's first to rotate, which means Optic has to give up on the fight and not get anything.
You can see a lot of communication between both teams on these roams. All roams being answered and mirrored by their lane opponents. So nobody does get a kill. Top side, they did have an exchange, but Broken Blade's able to back off, chug some of the corrupting potion, and eat some oranges.
Then tosses out a boomerang, but just gonna be pushing up those waves for now. Both these 80 carries, those traditional crit-style marksmen that want to farm it out, get strong, hit that 2 or 3 item power spike, and really start dishing out the big damage as Acadian, once again, working his way towards the top lane. He'll walk over a control ward, doesn't have time to fully clear that out as Meteos says, hey, get away from that.
Yep, completely mirrored here. Meteos is right on him, and Trundle chasing him around the map. Acadian is Aftershock, by the way, so as we talked about in Champion Select, you wait till the Sejuani gets one form of CC off to proc that, and then you get a big ultimate to steal quite a lot of stats. Now with Smoothie's roam, though, TSM overload top side. They finally get the control wards, and Acadian actually starts up the Rift Herald as well, because even though Big has roamed over, they don't have Meteos for the time being. He's walking back out onto the map, and Rift Herald takes a long time, so might get here in time.
Nice binding from Big. We'll be able to put a little bit of damage down onto the TSM support. Shelly's still aggroed, still not losing much patience. All right, a couple more ticks are popping off now. Eyeball is exposed. Another hit onto that one. Shelly down to 3K. If Optic wants to fight for this, they got to go in now. Dokla could come in from behind. Now it's going to be the engage coming out from TSM. Dokla wanting to go in. Acadian's able to secure the Rift Herald, and TSM got what they came for. Can they find any more? Dokla still continuing on the retreat. Pops the World Ender for speed to get away.
Yeah, TSM overload top side of the map. So that means on the bottom side, you can see Xayah here split pushing for Optic. Arrow's been down here the entire time they were working on that Rift Herald. He's got some turret plates worked away for himself, and we'll see how TSM use this Rift Herald activation, because Optic also getting a couple in mid lane.
We talk about Rift Herald and wanting to use it before 14 minutes often because of the fact that it's a guaranteed 320 gold. You knock off a couple of plates, but the cost of getting it for TSM was at least that many plates on the side of Optic, and we're about to crest that 14-minute mark anyway. Shelly will not get those plates this game.
Meanwhile, Sven worked away some by hand on the top side himself with
doing the dirty
zipper.
work. Let's see if Acadian face checks a brush here. Smoothie and Bjergsen hanging around just to make sure it won't be too troublesome. Smoothie popping the sweeper. We'll see Meteos in that brush, or at least the shadow of Meteos in that brush. As a TP comes in, looks like we're going to see Sven making his way towards the fight. And it is going to be a Mountain Drake play coming out here from TSM potentially, or maybe just wanting to shove in this mid lane with Shelly, considering the mid lane only has half HP left on the turret. One charge plus a little bit of damage should be able to take this one down. Bjergsen looking to find a bit more. Scarlet going in the pool to keep himself still alive. Shelly continuing to put in that damage, and the first turret goes down. TSM take the money.
TSM rotating over to the Mountain Drake too, grouped up as 5. They want to get 2 objectives for themselves. Dokla will continue split pushing. Yes, he does have teleport, but does not have the ultimate. And so much about Aatrox is the ultimate for these team fights. You don't want to have an ultimate or a team fight without the ultimate from the Aatrox. So they will be content to trade, get the mid turret back for themselves, while TSM take the Mountain Drake.
Very close in plates this game too. 5 for the side of TSM, 6 for the side of Optic Gaming. Means only 160 gold separate the two teams in terms of what they got from those early objectives. Acadian stealing away that enemy blue buff here yet again. Not as big of a deal against this composition because you're not denying it from a mana-hungry mid laner. Vlad's not really too concerned about it, but still always good to steal that away from your opponent in any way, shape, or form as Acadian goes back to base, grabs the Ninja Tabby, knowing that most of the damage he's going to be taking is those auto attacks from the Aatrox, from the Xayah, from that enemy Trundle too. And that means it'll be up to Scarlet to try to deal with him. You can see Scarlet, Proto Belt completed. Also Mercury Treads, paying a lot of respect to the Sejuani, the Syndra, the Nautilus, not going for a more offensive option like the Sorc Shoes.
Defense number 1. Reset here to the top side for TSM, while Optic once again splitting. They've got Scarlet level 11 on the Vladimir with teleport ready bottom side. Dokla not only is his ultimate back up, but he too is level 11, so everybody now getting access to those level 2 ultimate points. And this team fight could explode at any moment. Whoever gets caught first here, Sejuani and Nautilus, very, very good at forcing the fight, but they have to watch out for the Black Shield. We already saw one Nautilus ultimate easily being dealt with the Black Shield to deny the engagement around Rift Herald. And TSM will collapse on this top side to finish off the turret.
And I want to see how Optic utilizes Dokla in these fights. They invested into him in the early game. You saw how much Meteos was in the top lane, and I want to see if that enables him to pop off, like what we saw from Impact's Aatrox just last game.
And this is one of the first times that we've seen Optic investing this heavily into Dokla as a player on the top side of the map. Even previously when they had picked carry champions, not spending a lot of jungle time up there, not spending a lot of resources trying to defend him. And I thought that might be the same case in this game after we saw nobody using teleports to defend the dive. But with Meteos spending so much time up there, you're right about Aatrox getting very quickly to the 2-item build. He's working on the Death Dance now, does have the Caulfield's Warhammer. Trying to get that extra defense in the bleed out does go a long way in helping him play super, super aggressively in the team fights, which is very necessary. And this might be a result of, hey, Crown's not in, we don't have our world champion in mid lane, so Meteos is maybe more freed up to go top side. Let's try a top side focus game and see how it plays out.
Or maybe top ganks are just more fun. They said fun is the point. You like ganking a longer lane because the opponent has to run further away. Makes it a little bit easier to set up. Like I say, we'll see how that pays off, though, because if Dokla doesn't have a good performance in these fights, all of a sudden, all that investment doesn't mean too much.
Yeah, because it came at a cost, right? The bottom half of the map went to TSM. They've got 2 dragons because of this. Acadian recognized the trade-off there with Meteos camping topside. He invades on bottom, he gets a couple of dragons there for TSM, and now sitting with a Mountain Ocean, basically the Baron-killing combination of dragons because you can sustain the damage and deal extra damage to it. We might see that come to fruition here at the 20-minute mark once Baron is actually available.
Optic is still ahead in gold. It's a little bit of a lead. I mean, it's only 1,000, but it's still a lead. And that means that going into these fights, they should at least feel comfortable enough to take the fight if it looks close enough for them, as Arrow will continue pushing up here. Remember, this is the guy that was left alone when so much was happening top side around the Scuttle Crab, the giant Scuttle Crab, I should say, the Rift Herald. Yeah, around that thing. That means that Optic have to have some faith in the AD carry here too, working towards that second item. Inventory says it's probably going to be something with a lot of damage in it. I'm trying to remember the item recipes because my brain still always defaults back to what they used to be in the olden days. I'm trying to remember
You're
if it's still
stuck in the past.
Yeah,
What
I'm
year
still
is it,
stuck in the
Flowers?
past. I can't tell you when they first remade Sunfire Cape to have the Bomby Cinder in it, how many times I bought the health belt and then just went, oh, damn it. Had to sell the thing again and try to buy some more, but now we're going to see Meteos get himself caught out. A lot of CC finding its way onto the Optic jungler. He's blown up even through the ultimate as Big tries to go in with the ulti of his own. Stasis going to be popped there. Big trying to get himself away. Smoothie's going to be taken very low. Dokla popping off and grabbing that one. Scarlet's able to find a little bit of damage of his own. Instead, he's going to be taken down after Broken Blade gets one, and that is a 1 for 2 for TSM.
At a critical point there, we see split decision-making from Optic. They get one kill, Dokla gets the reset. Only Scarlet there is left fighting. Everyone else is running away, and TSM chase him down. Here we go, though. Teleport comes out from Arrow. Are they going to try and catch them in the pit after the dragon?
TSM get themselves the objective. Optic do not want to give it away for free, but Broken Blade is still very healthy and doesn't seem afraid of these guys at all. Meanwhile, Bjergsen deciding to get a 2-for-1 special on those objectives, grabbing the bottom lane tier 1.
TSM continue to control the Drakes. Mountain number 2, ready at the arrival of Baron. Let's take a look at the setup for this one, as we were talking about it. Meteos in the river. Acadian sees him and goes right for him because they know they are split. And yes, the teleports can come in, but during the teleport channel, you have enough time to burn down one target. Big tries to open up, gets a good Flash Morgana ultimate in there. He's very low though and almost taken out of the fight. Then Dokla in, flashes for the kill. Scarlet gets hooked up there. Sticks around as TSM are able to chase him down. Maybe it was the Syndra stun, hold him in place for just a little bit too long, but they all decide to pull out. They give up the extra kill. TSM happy with finding that objective.
And also happy with the fact that that was Big's stopwatch. Until he completes his Zonias, you no longer have to worry about that Morgana teamfight power with the stasis into the ulti. That is a big tool to have off the table now that Optic can no longer use. Nearly having that Death Stance done for Dokla will at least make him a much bigger threat in the team fights, but Broken Blade also working towards a Sterix Gauge means the Gangplank will be harder to take down here as well. Both top laners staying relevant in this game, as we'll see that Infinity Edge be completed for Arrow. That's the item I thought it was building into, but my brain was also tricked by the crit item rework that had to be 2 BF swords at one point, but that never made any sense anyway, because how can 2 swords make 1 sword?
2 swords make 1 sword if you reforge it with spikes all around it.
All right, fair enough. The 1 sword just gets broken down into the spike parts for the other sword. I see how it is. Dokla, though, has to retreat back to the safety of the rest of his team. He did manage to grab that blue buff away before TSM stole it yet again, but TSM have already made their way onto the tier 2 turret, nearly taking that one down, and that means they continue to maintain control over this map. Despite how close things are in terms of the gold, TSM seems to be pretty comfortably in the driver's
And this is a commitment from Optic to the split push. Scarlet's over there. He doesn't have teleport.
And here comes Sven and the rest of TSM. Black Shield thrown down onto Arrow means the Nautilus ulti's going onto Meteos instead, and Big is just completely bulldozed. Broken Blade on the front line has to flash over the wall to escape from Dokla. Scarlet wants to find the flank, but now Scarlet is completely isolated. This is not a spot that's going to find you a team fight win. He'll be CC'd up, bursted down. Now the pool give him a little bit more HP, but with Sven coming in, it's only a boomerang away from an early grave. Broken Blade, the one who cashes in.
Scarlet arrives to the party, and nobody is still partying. Nobody left.
Actually, all your friends left, but the cops are there, and then the cops end up hauling you away. Very unfortunate party circumstance for Scarlet over there, as now TSM have managed to grab themselves a Baron only 23 minutes in.
Now the cops have taken the Baron and run away with everything on the map.
This is the worst party ever.
All right, let's see. Let's see if the cops get the party now, because TSM have taken full control of this game. Here's the Sivir ultimate. They recognize the Vladimir no summoner spell. So once again, Acadian on stage here for TSM gets the hard engage. They fully commit to the dive. They get the kill and they get out before Scarlet's able to do anything. Then the tower is down, so he's found himself with no summoner spells behind an enemy team. And there's nowhere else to go for him. Even though he's able to dodge the Sejuani second swing there, Broken Blade goes in, gets another kill, And this is going to be TSM fully equipped with Baron buffs, sieging through the bottom side. This outer turret, or this secondary turret, is not going to stand a chance. The real question is, will they be able to crack inside the inhibitor turrets? Because that will be Optic's last line of defense here. They don't have great wave clear. Yes, Vladimir and Aatrox are really good team fighters for AoE and for diving the back line, but they don't have safe wave clear. And so TSM just walk up to the turret, annihilate the minions, chunk down the turret down to 50% on a single minion wave.
I mean, it's never all sugar and rainbows when your opponents have Baron to begin with, but as long as you're holding that inhibitor line, it's not fully doomed either. Optic, though, I don't know if that was the play you needed to start off with. Dokla without that ulti. Now, you said it before, Kobe. Aatrox without an ulti is not a team fight threat. TSM knows it. They'll smash down the inhibitor turret. Inhibitor's gonna go with, and that means Broken Blade can now start pressuring on to the mid lane inhibitor turret as well. Get that next one rolling and make sure TSM's War Machine never hits the brakes.
All right, bottom done with instantly here. Minion wave coming up mid should be the next one as well. They send Broken Blade top even. TSM want to get all lanes pushed with this Baron, and they've got the time to do it. 1 minute left on the timer means 2 more minion waves they have to try and finish their work.
Arrow's Xayah will do everything in his power to try to clear these minions away. TSM will continue putting in a couple of auto attacks every chance they get, but Broken Blade left unattended here in the top side, gonna grab that T2 for free.
Yeah, that one's down, and the cannon minion, TSM cannon minion in mid lane still put, oh, their teleport's coming in, they're going for the flank. This is it, Optic's last stand. Scarlet, he's coming to the party again!
Scarlet's got backup this time, he's saying, hey boys, I brought the whole case! As Smoothie has to get over the wall, but the double kill goes over to Scarlet, and that means Optic have a 2 for nothing.
Yep, they're going to try and chase down a couple more here. This is the opening that they're looking for. Can Meteos get the pillar? Teleport number 2.
TP coming in. Dokla makes his way into the fight, goes World Ender mode. Remember, he's still got to respect what's going on here from TSM. Does not have a revive until he gets himself some sort of an assist. Big moving forward, looking to grab the binding, does manage to land it now down onto Bjergsen, who's gonna be in some trouble. Broken Blade's gonna be going on a killing spree. More damage coming out though, and TSM are absolutely shredded. Optic get the kills.
Optic facing doom. Get the play. Teleport flank from Scarlet. Just erase the first one. That happened.
Yeah.
Number 2 is gonna work out here because TSM are split. They're trying to get 2 lanes of work done for the price of 1. And Sven, in the end, is the one gonna have to pay that price. Scarlet flashes over to make sure it's 2 for 1. They get both of them and continue the chase here. Because they have another teleport, Dokla coming in at the frontal point does take the Sejuani ultimate from Acadian, allowing Meteos and Scarlet to flank around. Even though Broken Blade does answer here, they're able to fight their way through it. Meteos charges forward, gets the ultimate down onto Sejuani, so steals a lot of stats. Big does get killed by Broken Blade. Good awareness there to finish off the low health member. However, it still cost them all of their lives, so some hope for Optic still fighting in this game.
I mean, if you look at it from the perspective of Optic is going to manage to kill the other 2 members of TSM there no matter what, and Broken Blade TPs in to save them, you're trading big for Broken Blade plus his teleport. That's a trade I'm taking any day of the week. Optic has to be ecstatic about the outcome of that fight. Even though their base is still hurting a little bit from having the bottom lane inhibitor lost, they're only down 500 gold.
Yeah, and all of the bounties have traded sides here. They were all on the side of TSM, but now they are on the side of Optic members. Ooh. Optic have been able to successfully defend the first Baron push there from TSM. A little bit too spread, maybe. They had gotten the bottom side completely dealt with for themselves and moved on from mid to try and get top at the same time. We'll see if this does end up coming into those late game team fights for Optic. Again, they've got such a great setup for it as well. The Aatrox and Vladimir almost both level 16 here. Dokla's there. Scarlet is very soon to follow. And Arrow hasn't died yet in this game.
Arrow at 3.5 big items plus a nice pair of boots. Has the Hex Drinker just to make sure he doesn't get exploded by the Wombo combo coming out from Bjergsen. No Tom Kent or anything like that to save him. Morgana will do her best with the black shields, but as you already said, those are also going to be used on members like Dokla and Scarlet to allow them to dive the back lines.
Meanwhile, on the side of TSM, I think they need to get Bjergsen to his level 16 and complete his death cap first. The Syndra explosive power is one of their biggest tools for their team fight, and it gains so much threat when you get another level in the ultimate and the death cap completion. Don't think they should actually force anything right now until they get another little reset. They are doing a very good job clearing out all the vision, though, and making Optic play a bit more scared.
Remember, it's not just the extra damage from Bjergsen's ult at a level 3. The increased range from his passive becoming active at that point as well means extra assassination power through that utility here for this champion, as Broken Blade has priority over the top lane tier 3. Optic will try to rotate some members over, but man, that demolish from Broken Blade will live up to the name, as Meteos is now going to be jumped on top of the subjugate, keeping himself alive for now. Dokla's going to be on the front line. If Smoothie goes down, that's the reset they need. Acadian runs away, but he's taken down now too. Scarlet goes on a rampage, and Optic take 2 for 0.
TSM playing a dangerous game there. They try and burst down Meteos. They don't get him, though. They pay the price with 2 members. And if you don't kill off a Trundle, he's going to regenerate up so much from the ultimate, from the passive, and the frozen domain. Optic with defense number 2.
Optic are keeping this dream alive today against TSM. It's 15 seconds until Acadian is back alive. Optic may make the call to go for the Baron here and just start things up, force TSM to answer, and yes, indeed, that is what they'll do. Broken Blade trying to find the damage here with the barrels. Arrow gonna be forced into the ulti very early here, but Sven is taken down. Dokla coming in from the side to make sure of it. Optic now still on this big objective. Acadian is alive, but not in time. And Baron goes the way of Optic Gaming.
What a swing, Captain Flowers. Whew. TSM moments ago were at the gates of Optic's base. And now, Optic completely turning the tides. Look at that, Meteos able to get the ult off, big heals. Also, the cleanse came through. Meanwhile, charging into the backside, level 16 Dokla, they were able to get 2 kills for themselves, taking down the TSM frontline, and now the tables have turned. Optic, wearing purple, will storm mid lane.
Optic have done well off the back foot so far, but now let's see how they do when they're the ones who have to make the play. I've seen this happen so many times in League of Legends where a team does well on defense, and then when things change up and they're the ones who have to go on offense, they'll commit the same or worse sins than their opponents. They'll overexert themselves, overextend themselves, and just make it so they put themselves in a bad spot. Now Optic are going for the dive. They're trying to find some sort of a kill onto the back line. Sven's already going to be taken down. Scarlet, man, he is unstoppable. They go on a killing spree for Arrow. Shut down finally over onto the Optic Gaming substitute mid laner, but it is still a 2 for 1. Broken Blade and Sven, highly valuable, highly desirable targets. Acadian barely gets himself away. Meteos will die to the final turret shot as Dokla goes forward. Bjergsen on his mind, but not concerned any longer as the tier 3 turret falls and the mid lane inhibitor falls.
And there's an Infernal Drake on the map, so Optic want to retreat as quickly as possible to take that objective while they have control. Both teams with 2 members down, but TSM has Sven coming up in 9 seconds with a teleport. I think they're gonna try and burn it down. They take the red buff on their way out, and they should have the DPS to get their second dragon of the game.
And this substitute mid laner, man, let's talk about Scarlet, because he had a little bit of a shaky start there. That first flank coming in from behind was not exactly coordinated, but ever since the second flank, he has been on point. Let's take another look at how Optic made this work.
Vladimir, level 16 with Electrocute, an AD carry's worst nightmare. Plus the black shield on him, gets to jump in, takes down Sven, completely disrupts the team fight, then does get locked up here. Good job by TSM. Acadian gets the last knock up there, still within tower range, so they kill off the Vladimir. And Bjergsen is finally back out from the fountain onto the base for them. He can have the threat on Meteos, pops the ultimate as Meteos runs back, and the last tower shot finishes him off to answer the kill for TSM. Then he's able to kite Dokla and Optic clean up that inhibitor. So it is 1 inhibitor down mid lane here for TSM. Optic space as two that are exposed. A big team fight either way will result in huge, huge losses. Bjergsen is finally level 16 now on the Syndra, has completed the death cap, and they've got plenty of healing reduction, but it might be too late to deal with the power of the Optic dive.
Optic, 4,000 gold ahead. Baron about to run out in 3 seconds, though. Means the siege is going to become a lot harder. They do have that Guardian Angel up for Dokla's Aatrox, meaning he could potentially have 3 lives in this next team fight. Makes him very, very scary. You've got to be so respectful of it. And if you look at TSM's comp, Smoothie is such an easy reset for Dokla on the front line with this Nautilus. Makes it very easy to just pop him, get things going. Acadian not going to find the mark there with that Sejuani ulti. That means Scarlet's going into the back line, top of the pool, but now Dokla, Scarlet both going to be in some trouble. Scarlet's going to be stunned up, goes into the stasis, keeping himself alive. Smoothie going to be taken very low, and Scarlet is blown up. TSM, defend the base.
He crosses the line this time, and they're able to kill him. Smoothie survived with 50 HP, by the way, on that Nautilus. He got his Nautilus ultimate off to get the Zhonya's out of Scarlet, and that is a key member of Optic down. This game still such a slugfest. Another of our first place tiebreakers, Captain Flowers. Team Liquid were the first to pull ahead of the pack, and who's gonna be the second? There's another look at that siege. Scarlet heads down with big. Acadian starts it out by missing the engage there onto Meteos. Then Meteos gets a good Trundle ultimate, so he's very tanky, but Scarlet goes in, early pool on the Vladimir, not being able to get back to Sven. Sven kiting there, the Sivir, is so key for themselves. If he's able to survive, much as Smoothie did there with the low health on Nautilus and get off the CC, that is such a big difference maker. Turning the tides of this fight, will the Vladimir dive be able to get either Sven or Bjergsen, along with Dokla and get those resets? Or is the kiting on point for TSM to survive the initiation?
I am so happy that these first 2 games of the day that feature all teams being tied for first place have not been a stomp one way or the other. Both of them have had these back and forth moments, and it shows that these teams are truly competitive with each other. Optic Gaming, a squad that at the beginning of this split, nobody would have expected to be coming back after losing pretty badly early on against TSM after being an inhibitor down, have been in control of the game for the past while now. They're still 3,000 gold ahead. Baron spawning in 15 seconds, Elder Dragon in a bit over a minute. Optic with control over the mid lane as TSM try to find the opportunity to flank.
Optic are playing bodyguard right now. They're trying to get these minions into the TSM base. Sivir ult is used.
Then pops the on the hunt, but TSM don't engage with it, which means that spell will be down once the fight breaks out. Leah's now looking to find Smoothie here on the side. Dokla gonna be flanking. Scarlet looking for a chance to maybe go in, but will not find it. His Spellbinder used as well.
And they got the super minion inside the base. The super minion is going to put the pressure down. That means Sven on Sivir is actually not going to be at this fight. He kills it very quickly as Optic transition over to Baron.
Optic are already starting this one up. Meteos is at half HP, but so is Baron Nashor. Optic contemplating how long they want to stick around here. Baron's going to be taken very low. It's secured by Meteos. Acadian will not steal that one today. Optic trusting in their jungler, trusting in this long-time staple jungler in the LCS, and the trust is well placed.
I jumped, Flowers. That is one of the most stressful things in League of Legends, is to be
the 50-50.
Doing a Baron with your team. All of a sudden, out of nowhere, the enemy jungler pops over the back of the Baron pit. Woo.
And in a game where it could potentially decide whose Nexus blows up off of that one button press. Is your smite good enough? Meteos, you damn well believe it is. Optic Gaming now in control of the Baron buff here yet again. Damage coming down pretty rapidly onto Acadian, who's going to be nearly dead. Broken Blade now in a bad spot. Scarlet looking to solo him out. Broken Blade barely gets away. Acadian barely gets away. But what's that, Kobe? That's Optic Gaming, and they're going straight for an Elder Drake. If you get both of these massive buffs at the same time, what could possibly happen for TSM to come back? Acadian can't get into the pit in time. The Drake is secured. Broken Blade's teleport wasted, and Optic Gaming are primed for a big push.
Woo, the tensions are high, Captain Flowers. Optic Gaming once again have TSM on the ropes. That Elder Dragon last hit came down to arrow crit, by the way, with the Xayah being able to secure it, I believe. He is the only player as well in this game not to have a death to his name yet. And with double Guardian Angels for Optic, wearing Baron buff, wearing Elder Dragon buff, this is in their hands.
Every summoner as well, except Scarlet's teleport, ready to go. Broken Blade and Acadian, no flashes. Smoothie, no flash. Optic are the ones with all the decision-making power here.
Zabutin said goal number 1 of this game is having fun for
Winning
the team.
is fun.
And I bet they're having fun right now.
Let's see what they can find. Elder Drake, Baron buff. It doesn't get any scarier than this. Both of those buffs alive for another minute and a half or so, and Optic will need to force the issue during that time. You want to make TSM have to answer you. Ultimate comes down from the gangplank, but what's it even going to do? The minions won't even die to it yet, and look at how quickly the structures completely disappear under Optic's fire. Now it's only top lane still standing, but considering the tier 2 is still there, Optic are not concerned. Instead, their sights are on the Nexus turrets. 50 seconds still remaining on both buffs.
Here we go, Nexus turret's defending. Meteos goes in for a pillar, possible poke.
Big finds a binding, but it's only onto Acadian. That's not the guy you can start the fight off onto. Nexus turret number 1 already going to be taken down. Nexus turret number 2 out of the picture now.